The collection is important because it's a part of our history, and the mission of the Auburn Avenue Research Library is to collect and preserve and make available resources by and about people of African descent. So it's a really large mission, but within that, our strongest collections are collections that document Atlanta and Georgia and the South. And in order to tell a complete story or to offer resources that people can use to tell a more complete story, we really want to focus on every person in every association that has been a part of creating this history.
You built a wall.
I think it's important because there is a history here that's important, that's just not been documented. We have a kind of community, if you will, that formed that, and you can kind of trace the formations. There are people here with the memory of, this formation. There are people here who lived these experiences, and there's been no formal documentation of it. There's been no formal collecting around it to document it, but yet we know that suddenly in the mid-90s there's this growing proliferation of printed materials, Venus Magazine, all these different specific items for the community here. We know going back to that there was the African American Lesbian and Gay Alliance.
Cause of the fall, selective memory. Then you built a wall.
We have collections in this city that LGBTQ collections at other repositories, but they then have become kind of like collections of that are racialized in a sense. They're of white individuals, organizations that are predominantly white. So this piece of history just has not been given the priority, intentionally or not, that it deserves. Atlanta is a well-established center of African American culture and life in the United States. So you can kind of take that kind of like the national place that Atlanta holds and then extrapolate and say that it is important. Atlanta was a very important place with HIV/AIDS. What was going on in the city at the time carries over nationally, and there, how the African American community responded specifically to what was not happening for them is very important. It's important, exceeds the state boundaries and pushes out nationally.
And also, I think we were talking earlier about migrations of African American LGBT persons and to Atlanta, and that the story of that migration is somewhat simplistic. But what brought people here could have been a number of reasons. I mean, it could have been education, or it could have been for jobs. And Atlanta is a hub in many different ways, and the collections that we have in general document a larger migration of people that are coming to Atlanta for education and for jobs. And so you see the interconnectedness, and I think that's been a hole in history for a long time, because repositories, you're going to collect African American history, but there's certain segments of it that you don't collect. But we want to collect broadly, and we want to collect so that those holes, those gaps can be filled. And I mean, I really want this effort to be institutionalized, and it is through our collection development policy, so that we can have a richer collection for people like you, to use.
Well, thank you guys for meeting with me today.
Thank you,
very
Artina.
much.